While growing up, we did see a lot of waters in our rivers. Indeed, I know that we used to even swim in the rivers, and rivers were always flooded. There was enough water. Today, when I look at the same rivers within my community, within the constituency that I was running as a member of parliament and elected for 3 terms, I can tell you there is a big change. The change that we have seen in terms of even the environment, the general environment, enough water for growing of crops has been a challenge, enough water for animals, and even accessing water has been a challenge. Of course, there is scramble for water in my own assessment, but also pollution. You will find that people are burning and cutting trees. There were more trees when we were growing up, and it wasn't easy to cut a tree. Today, people cut trees. There seems to be our regulations are not working well. And I remember that you used to have to ask your chief, the authority, to actually allow you to cut the trees. I see that today we need to all plant trees. You remember, I want to recall when I was growing up in the primary schools, there would be this every season, every rain season, we would also carry our trees from our homes. Trees would also be brought by the wildlife and forest, and then we would plant trees in our schools and make sure that they grow. There would also be, our parents were very keen on growing trees. Today, you see a different environment. As a minister, as a cabinet secretary, now lads, public works and housing, we have a very useful program that is the building climate resilience urban poor. Building climate resilience urban poor. We work in comfortable offices. When we go home, we go to comfortable homes. You have energy, you have electricity for your energy and for your lighting and for your cooking. You have water, running taps, you have enough food. But when you look at the opposite, the slum dwellers, the informal settlements, it is something that we must work very hard. Today I'm here to launch the implementation of BCRAP, Building Climate Resilience Urban Poor. We need to build homes that have the facilities that we enjoy in our own homes as well. Electricity, sanitation, sufficient sanitation, enough water, running taps. We need to have schools within distances that are acceptable for our children. So our program is elaborate. We seek to have climate ecosystem become part of our construction, our building of our houses. And we aim to build 200,000 houses per year. Obviously, we need partnerships. And for us, for this particular initiative of BCRAP, we have 10 countries. His Excellency the President is the African champion, while Brazil is the champion for Asia and Brazil. So we are joining together here to launch the implementation plan where all countries that we have agreed to partner and work together will move together to ensure that action is taken by seeking the highest political goodwill and also ensuring that we have enough resources mobilized. So it will be a call also to mobilize resources. Our partners are on board. We have the Commonwealth working with us. We have World Bank. We have Africa Development Bank. We have other global players, Green Fund for housing. We have the Global Fund for housing. We have partners like the United Cities and Local Governments working together with us. Kenya with the United Cities and Local Governments working together as the primary movers of the BCRAP initiative. And I want to say that it's of course a challenge. We know partners are on board and we will be meeting them this afternoon in an event that we have launched here at the Kenyan Pavilion. His Excellency the President is the key guest for this event, and we are looking forward to a critical message to mobilize political goodwill and funding.
Now, as from your life as a politician and now as a minister, do you think that there's need to have the politicians involved in this journey of climate change, legislating climate change? How can they play an active role?
Of course, you know that first and foremost, the legislative assemblies, both the local and national, are very critical in whatever regulations to deal with the climate change, the new challenges, and the legal frameworks that are required. Like in our country, Kenya, we two months ago in August, we passed the climate change law and the regulations together to enable the carbon credit issues included in our law. And obviously, without that, we were not able to deal with carbon credit matters very well. I believe now we are at a better place. The legislative bodies are critical. You know, even they have influence with the people, a lot of influence with the people. They can be able to mobilize funds as well. They will be able to mobilize people and send the messages that we need to be sent. Any national tree planting or growing days, members of parliament can mobilize their constituents, members of the county assemblies, elected leaders, governors. In this particular meeting, we have parliaments attending, their members attending, we have county governments attending. I have seen several county governors in this particular conference, and I know that COP28 has attracted very high-level decision makers. Of course, the presidents are all here. I am going through the menu, is over 140 heads of state. It really is, I think, the big thing now, talking about climate change, but most importantly, implementing the resolutions that we make every year and ensure that those resolutions achieve tangible results on the actions that have been agreed upon. But until we also agree as nations, those that bear the highest responsibility to work, seamlessly with countries that are suffering bigger negative effects or more serious effects of climate change, notwithstanding their small contributions. It is time to deal with these issues of compensation and damages or damage. I think the countries have waited for long, and the conversation is at a level now where we are looking at action being taken immediately.
Lastly, why do you think Kenyans should care about COP28?
Oh, we are here as a country. I think our president is one of the biggest champions of climate change, and Kenyans ought to be, and I'm sure they are listening to the messages he's sending. We experience drought, we experience floods, we experience life loss lost during the rains. Our animals have been, killed by the drought. And therefore, everybody, you saw the other day in Kenya, we have been losing people through the floods because sometimes they are fresh. Nobody was expecting. This kind of disasters, obviously, would have all Kenyans putting their thoughts and mind together so that we approach it as a country, as a nation. No one should be left behind. Those who have been affected and those who have caused or may have caused climate change to the negative effects that we have been experiencing.